On the Road with Kelly and Bob is brought to you by Mueller Metal Roofs and Buildings. Made in America, made to last. Coming up on this episode...
A lot of folks walk by this store, and with it being the only brick-and-mortar cigar box guitar store in the world, oftentimes people haven't seen these things before, or they're not familiar with them.
Hi, we're Kelly
and Bob Phillips, and we're on the perpetual road trip of America's back roads,
where the journey is always the destination.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. I'm Bob Phillips.
And I'm Kelly Phillips. If you're a first-time listener, what we do is really simple. We find stories about good people doing good things, folks who are doing something different with their lives, and sometimes tales with a twist.
We travel all over the U.S. doing this and spend time with these people in person. Then send those stories back where you can hear them on radio and podcast. Like Kelly said, well, it's simple.
Today we have a story for you from Huntsville, Alabama, but it's a tale that began a long time ago on Cape Cod.
Jeff and I actually grew up together. We went to high school together, and we were good friends in high school. We like to joke that he dated all of my friends.
Of course he did.
We started dating when we were in college. We both grew up on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and we both went to college in Massachusetts, started dating then. So our lives have been intertwined for a very long time.
Growing up on Cape Cod, you might think Jeff and Tara Mello each had a fairy tale childhood. Truth is, their stories are not unlike most of our own.
As a very young person, my parents bought a motel on Cape Cod. So it was a little tiny 20-unit, park in front of the door, old school style, 1950s style motel. And it was the family business. So I was too little to clean rooms, and I got put in charge of doing the laundry. So I did all of the towels and the sheets for the motel, and then I took over running the front desk when mom and dad were cleaning the rooms. So from a very young age, I was sort of interacting with people coming in and ringing them up. Like, remember the old school credit card machine where you had to yeah. And then pulling out the maps and giving them directions on where to go.
I was always a curious kid. Growing up on Cape Cod, I would hike down to the local Goodwill store and go through the broken toys. I used to love going and finding little toys that were busted, that they're asking a nickel or a quarter for, and I'd bring them home and I'd pull them apart and see what was inside. Take the little motors out, the little lights, the little battery holders, and I was always cobbling things together. And I think that started my interest in engineering, just wanting to explore and to build. And I always liked art too. Art was always one of my favorite classes. But growing up, nobody says, hey kid, you should become an artist for a living. I never even thought about that as a career. I always wanted to get into robotics and building things and creating things.
When Jeff Mello talks about his desire to build and create things, he's referring to the high-end engineering jobs that have kept him busy for the past 25 plus years. Simple things like working on training and simulation devices for military aircraft.
Tara lived in the world of professional journalism. Little did either of them know that it would be one of the simplest musical devices ever created that would one day change their lives.
I embarked on a 25-year engineering career before we even knew what a cigar box guitar was.
And me, a 25-year journalism career.
And never really had any music background, never knew how to play a guitar, didn't have any instruments at home growing up.
The Cigar Box Guitar. Not only is it simple, it is exactly what the name says it is. A guitar made from a cigar box. A cardboard cube that becomes a musical instrument.
Making his first cigar box guitar wasn't something that required Jeff's expert engineering skills, but it was something that would change Jeff and Tara's lives forever.
So I picked this thing up and I start looking at it. And I'd been doing woodworking for over 20 years. And as an engineer, I'm kind of curious how things work. And I thought, hey, I'm going to make one of these things. Then I'm going to hang it up on the wall because I know nothing about playing guitars. So I made one and I brought it down here to the Cigar Box Guitar store. And I came home that day knowing how to play a few chords on these things. And I learned how simple they were to play.
Tara saw this as a great thing for Jeff. Something to keep his high-end engineering brain occupied. But it was definitely not for her.
Oh, the little things we tell ourselves, as if we think we are in charge.
Then he made one for our daughter. She was in maybe the 6th grade at the time, really into Harry Potter. And she had started taking violin lessons at that point, was exploring music, and he's like, oh, this will be a daddy-daughter thing to do. Made her this Harry Potter themed guitar, really, really cool looking. They started coming down here for those free lessons on Saturdays together. And initially I was just happy to be alone in the house, but they kept coming home so happy. And grinning from ear to ear and giggling and what are you people doing over there? And I grew up in this family that can't clap to the beat of the music. And love music, just huge appreciators of music, but no rhythm whatsoever. I'm like, I can't do this. And our daughter's like, Mom, you should try. You should try. Well, you're not going to say, no, I can't do that to your kid, right? That's not good mentorship. And okay, all right, sure, I'll come down and give this a try. And sure enough, a couple lessons in, I was like, maybe I can do this. Maybe this is achievable.
Jeff and Tara are not the type of people who do anything halfway. They soon ended up owning the world's only brick-and-mortar cigar box guitar store.
And after giving in to the lure of this simple instrument in their own lives, today they spend most of their time graciously assisting other people in changing theirs.
They see this whole exercise as a means of making the world a better place, though they will quickly deny any of the credit for that. We, they say, are merely conduits. It's the music that does the trick.
It's interesting because we have people of all ages and experiences coming to our store, right? I mean, literally, from the little wee ones up to 90. And we hear a lot of people who are adults who say, I tried to play an instrument when I was younger and I couldn't. And I don't have any rhythm. I can't possibly do that. And sometimes we can convince them, hey, come on in and give it a try. We're not trying to sell you anything. We just want to share our experience with you. And they're amazed. Oh, wait, yes, I can.
What does that feel like when you take someone that thinks they're non-musical and give them a little bit of instruction and they walk out of here feeling like...
Well, that's actually the best part about having this business. And we saw what an important resource this has been for our community. It brings people together to make music. We have a lot of builders, a lot of makers in our community who come in here for parts or some guidance. So with it being the only one in the world, we thought, we've got to keep this thing going. And so we embarked on this thing of building art and selling it and thought that's really what it was about.
It wasn't what it was about.
That's not what it's about at all. When you get a room full of people in here and you're up on that stage and you're teaching them how to play and they're all smiling up at you, having the time of their life, making music and building community, we saw that's what this is all about. This is about making a difference in people's lives. These things are truly instruments of change, and we see how they can be used for couples therapy, physical therapy, people recovering from strokes who have other issues, trying to rebuild those brain connections. So that's what this business is about.
Of course, we were not going to get out of the world's only cigar box guitar store without trying our hands at playing this instrument. Why are you laughing? And while mastering seems like a pretty big word, I have to say I can see where a few lessons could provide a lot of pleasure, if only for the player himself.
Let's listen in to the rest of our conversation with Jeff and Tara Mello, including our own attempts at playing a cigar box guitar.
It was back in the 1850s when the cigar box was invented. That's 7 generations ago, right?
Yeah.
So the cigar box was invented because merchants at that time used to sell cigars in bundles or barrels, and those would take up a lot of room on a shelf. So they would have these little boxes built. They could stack them neatly and sell them more easily in these little boxes. And it was about that time period where we have the first known illustration was a Union soldier playing a cigar box fiddle. Prior to that time, there are written records of, when Johnny was standing on the street corner playing an instrument fashioned out of a discarded cigar box. But in the 1865, we have an actual drawing of somebody playing one. And that guitar happened to have, or this fiddle happened to have, one string on it. And you change the length of that string by pressing down on the fingerboard and running the bow across it, and the friction on the bow would make the string vibrate. You can change the pitch by moving your finger. But if you put that bow down and you pluck that one-stringed instrument made out of a cigar box, they refer to that as a diddly bow. And if you've heard of an artist named Bo Diddley, that's where he took his name from. In the 1880s, a guy by the name of Daniel Carter Beard came along and created instructions on how to build a cigar box banjo. They called it the Uncle Enos banjo. So his name might not be familiar, but his friend Baden Powell is familiar to a lot of folks who were involved in the Boy Scouts of America.
I can tell you recognize that.
Baden Powell was friends with
Yes.
this guy?
Yeah.
Daniel Carter Beard and Baden Powell formed the Boy Scouts of America. And prior to the Boy Scout handbook, there was a book called the American Handbook for Boys. I was a scout leader, and I used to collect some of the older books. Never had one of the really old ones, so I had a reproduction copy of the American Handbook for Boys. It had been sitting in my attic for over 30 years. And I heard that Daniel Carter Beard included instructions. So I went up into my attic and I found this book, and I went and I looked in the back, and sure enough, there they are, the instructions on how to make a 5-string banjo from a cigar box.
A 5-string banjo?
Yes.
5 strings. I could have gotten another merit badge.
Yes. So you have a G, a D, and a G, which makes them very easy to play with that open tuning, because every time you strum, you get a G chord. And all I need to do is put my finger across all 3 strings to change the chord. Hold all 3 of those strings down. Now I have a C chord. And now if I hold them here, I have got a D chord. And that's just a couple spaces on the guitar. So with those 3 chords, I can do all sorts of music. And you can play a lot of familiar songs fairly easily. More like rhythm to popular music. So like the Rolling Stones do a lot in the tuning that we use on these guitars. So with 3 chords, you can play a lot of different Rolling Stones songs. So there's a lot of popular music out there that you can play on these things.
You
Yes.
mentioned that these are tuned like some of the Rolling Stones.
Open G is a common tuning used by Keith Richards. The Black Crowes use it as well.
ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner.
Right. Or and you can see from my finger, I was making what they call a bar chord, just holding down the 3 strings all across the fret wire.
How well do you play this thing?
I don't think I play it very well.
Could you give us a little demo so we
I
can
absolutely
hear
can.
Is it kind of cool for you to be able to show how non-musical people, supposedly, can actually make music?
Yeah, it's making believers out of people, right?
Yeah.
When you see how something affects people positively, and you know that to be a truth, right? You want to share that with the world. So every person that walks in this store, I'm like, I need to convince you of this too, because they, much like you said to us, hey, I'm a drummer, I'm not going to be able to play this guitar, I don't know anything about this stuff, right? We're going to change your attitude before you leave today. You're going to feel like you could pick up an instrument like a guitar and start playing it.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, but everybody who walks in, we get people, I've got this issue and this reason why I can't do it. We had a couple that came in here, older couple. He was in his 80s and she was in her late 70s. And he had guitars and he wanted a cigar box and he wanted to trade me a traditional guitar for a cigar box. I said no. And he went and sold that guitar and then came in and spent the money on a cigar box. Came in for his lesson and his girlfriend was with him. Tara's like, just like she said to you here, are you going to join us?
For weeks, she would sit next to him. I'm just going to sit and watch.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit and watch.
Yeah, you should join us and play.
And you'd see after a little while, she's tapping her foot, you know, she's smiling. I'm like, why don't you try? No, I can't do this. I'm too old. No, I can't do this. I said, you can do this. Well, maybe. And so before class started, now we start every class like this if we have people who have no musical understanding at all. Before class started, I sat down with her. Okay, you hold the guitar, you put the back side tight up against your belly. Here's how you hold the pick. Okay, let's strum, right? Just practice that. And got her going with those super basic things before class started. Then she participates in class, and you'll see we'll do the sort of beginner things that we do with everybody who's brand new.
But we tell everybody, look, you can stay for 10 minutes, you can stay for the full 2 hours, whatever you're comfortable with. She stayed for the full 2 hours, had a great time, came back with a cigar box guitar that she bought on eBay, that she wanted to play that, so we helped her with that a little bit. And then she was playing more than her boyfriend was.
And he comes in one day, they were a very funny couple. He comes in one day, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? He said, I'm not doing well at all. I said, why is that? That guitar, she plays that guitar, and now I have to do all the dishes. And he
Roles reversed.
He was joking.
Because he was excited, because this is something that he enjoys, and now she does too.
Yes.
Did you guys change her life?
I'm way too humble to suggest that would be true. However, there was the moment that she came in and said, well, I'm here for my therapy, and sat down.
Tara,
And-
be humble if you must.
and-
You changed her life.
And what she shared, but it wasn't me, right? I was a catalyst.
Well,
We go
sure.
back to music reduces stress, puts your hearts in rhythm, connects you with other people, right? All I did was give her a little push to go, you can try this. It was the music that brought the therapy to her. It was the music that connected her more with her significant other. It was the music that helped reduce her stress level. It wasn't me. It was just me pushing her and saying, you can do it. It was Jeff building an instrument that was easy enough to play. By the way, she had to replace the one that she bought on eBay because it didn't have some of the features that Jeff was talking about. Why is this one so hard to play? Why is this one not? Right, but it was Jeff by providing an instrument that made it easy. But we were just the oomph that she needed to
It
make that
allowed them
change.
to share music with each other and grow together as a couple. And they would travel around the country and they would send us videos. They went to Four Corners and they sent us a video of them playing their cigar box guitars
Walking
and
around
dancing
in the
around
little,
the Four Corners.
the little
What could
four
be better than
corners.
that?
I mean,
Really.
it was great.
So that was an impact that we made. And every Saturday when we leave here, at the end of a long day, where we're tired, because we've been teaching people and talking to people all day, we don't talk about how many guitars we sold. We talk about what impact we made on people's lives.
Yeah.
Do you realize you're not only changing the lives of all these people, you too have changed your own lives
Oh,
by
yeah.
taking this on and doing this?
Yeah. If you had told us that we would have been doing this, even when Jeff first started building guitars, we wouldn't have believed you. You know,
just
absolutely not.
working together. I mean, it's helped us grow as a couple because we've got this new thing that we're working on, and I think it's a helpful time in our life too, as we're sunsetting our careers. We're watching our daughter move up through college. This gives us something new to put our energy into and continue to grow and learn together. We're going to give you a portion of the experience that we provide for people that come in here every Saturday.
Okay.
All right, so the cigar box guitar, it's constructed just like any other stringed instrument. All right, we've got the body, which happens to be a recycled cigar box. We have our neck, we have our headstock, our tuners that have already been tuned to open G. Okay. And then we have these little wires here, these are our frets. So let's try a little strumming, we'll try to do that together. We're gonna do things in 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum with me, I'm just doing some down strums right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just doing down strums. Now, if I'm going to do an up strum, I will do that on the and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If I just want to do the down strums, I can just do down strums. Whatever you're comfortable with. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. So strum all 3 of those strings. Okay. So let's strum it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Now move up 1 step to 11. Do the same thing there. The 2 spaces to 9. Just holding that bottom string. Now 7. 5. 4. 2. And open. Get back to 12. Now 12. Try strumming up and down. 11. 9. 7. 5. 4. 2. And open. Get ready at 12. Now 12. But try a little squeeze and release. It makes kind of a punchier sound. 11. Kind of an abrupt, punchy sound when I release. 9. 7. 5. 4. 2. And open. Very good. Let's listen to what we just did. See if this sounds familiar at all. Maybe more familiar like this. Right? It's just a scale. It's a chromatic scale. And you can make up all sorts of music on that scale just by walking up and down the scale. There's songs that we already know that are just built on that scale. I'm going to play the same notes we just played. It's all there. So you can find that whole song just by walking up and down the scale. How about this one, a popular song? All on the scale.
Yeah.
So when it sounds pleasant to our ears. So it's fun just to kind of hunt and make up music with that. Okay, I think you're ready. I think you're ready. All right, so we're going to start on 3. We're going to strum 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Again, stay on 4, stay on 3. Now slide up to 2. Back to 3. 4. 2. 3. You got it. Try up and down strumming if you can.
I'm just going to do down strums. If you want to look at what I'm doing to help
2.
keep it tight.
City, here I come.
2,
Huntsville City, Rocket City, here I come.
3,
They've got
4,
some real smart women
2,
there, and I'm gonna get me
3.
one.
stay on 3,
Stand on the corner of Clinton and Monroe.
2,
Stand on the corner, Clinton and Monroe.
4,
Head over to the music hall
2,
and catch the latest
3.
show.
stay on 3,
I might take a shuttle or in a capsule splash down. Anyway, you know I'm going to get to that town.
2,
I'm going to Huntsville City, Rocket City, here I come.
3,
They've got
4,
some real smart women
2,
there, and I already got
3.
me one. Stay on 3. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3.
Wow.
I was the off note the whole time.
You did great. You
did
are now
great.
blues artists.
Guys, we got to get the band back together.
That's right. You got to think of what the name of the band is going to be while you're
take the
driving.
band on the road. It's
right.
easy.
Well, we had so much fun with Jeff and Tara Mello at the Cigar Box Guitar Store in Huntsville, Alabama. You need to check them out if you're in the area. It's definitely a must go. And if you don't think you can play music, they're probably going to prove you wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. Don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also check out our YouTube page. Listen to us wherever you get your podcast or download that free Odyssey app. Listen anytime, anywhere. New episodes drop every week.